While hearing the matter regarding the India's got latent controversy, and especially on Ranveer Allahbadia, the Supreme Court of India has come down very heavily on Ranveer Allahbadia for the kind of language he used in the show. Although there has been some sort of relief for him, but it has come at the cost of some very important restrictions or conditions. Firstly, the two primary aims of Ranveer Allahbadia's legal team was to, get all these FIRs, numerous FIRs that are being filed against him, to club them together so that it becomes easy for them logistically to handle these cases. Mind you, by now, as we are speaking, there are 3 FIRs filed against him. First was in Assam, second was in Mumbai. The third, which is the newest addition to the list, was in Jaipur, although that FIR was filed after the petition of Supreme Court was filed. Supreme Court has made it very clear that no further FIRs will be filed against Ranveer Allahbadia, and that is a major relief for him and his legal team. Secondly, and more importantly, they have stayed his arrest. Now, the authorities will not be able to arrest him on the basis of the FIR, on the basis of the pre-existing FIR, and that again becomes a very important point, considering that another thing that his legal team was looking forward to was, was for seeking an anticipatory bail. We did talk to an expert some days ago, where we got to know that yes, the cases or the articles under which, rather the sections under which cases are filed against Ranveer Allahbadia do have a jail term, but then anticipatory bail was also very much on cards. So yes, these are the 2 pointers because of which Ranveer Allahbadia and his team might be slightly happy today. But the overall observation of the Supreme Court was always going to be very important, because this was the first time that Supreme Court was actively hearing this case. And everyone was looking forward to what kind of approach the Supreme Court was going to have, right? Because the definition of obscenity is slightly difficult to understand. It depends case to case. While in some case, the court really comes down heavily on the people. On the other case, it does hold up the individual's right to expression or freedom of expression. In this case, the court or the 2-judge panel has chosen the former way. We saw Justice Khan come down very heavily on Ranveer Allahbadia, talking about how this was the kind of language that clearly falls under the purview of the definition of vulgarity and obscenity. In India, it's the kind of show, it's the kind of language that cannot be seen or viewed as a family together. They also stated that Ranveer Allahbadia will not be able to travel out of the country, as his passport is to be submitted to Thane police station as soon as possible. Secondly, he has been asked to cooperate fully with the authorities. Now, that is another issue. Ever since this controversy began, we saw that on the panel of 5 people, Apurva Makhija and Ashish Chanchrani were 2 of the first panelists, 2 of the few panelists who were very quick and very prompt in approaching the Khar police station and recording their statements. Samay Raina and his team had communicated to the authorities that he was not in India and he would be back. He would record his statement once he's back, and a similar kind of reason was given by Jaspreet Singh as well. But as far as Ranveer is concerned, he was in India and he was out of reach. He was not reachable for authorities. Not just him, but even his legal team was not reachable for the police authorities, which had casted or strengthened the case against him. The court has observed that, and court has told him to be present in front of, not just to be present in front of the authorities, but also to cooperate with the authorities. Now, the next summon that has been issued for Ranveer Allahbadia is on 24th of February. And now, considering the kind of observations that have been made by Supreme Court, he has no other reasons but to be present in front of the Maharashtra Cyber Cell to record his statement on an official basis. But it is the observation, the strong observation made by Supreme Court that becomes so important here in this case. There are several narratives as well, right, about how the centre had been looking forward to regulate or strengthen their regulation as far as IT laws in India is concerned. There have been multiple content creators across different social media platforms, especially the ones who make political content, who have been talking about how this is something that will really harm or hurt the prospect of freedom of expression, especially the one that is going against the government heavily. If such a law has been passed, but cases like these do strengthen the case of the government, especially as they get a judicial backing as well when it comes to obscenity. A purview which is slightly different when it comes to the kind of laws that the government might have originally wanted to frame. But considering or taking it as a reference, one can surely think of it setting up a precedent for the centre to formulate such kind of laws, which might again become slightly stringent and might constrain certain kind of freedoms of individual making content on different social media platforms. with camera person Arun. This is Anuj Raite reporting for NDTV.